You're different. 8 strange signs. You're the chosen one. Have you ever wondered why strangers seem magnetically drawn to you? Or why you consistently awaken at the same mystical hour each morning? Have you noticed how your intuition speaks with an almost supernatural accuracy? Or how children naturally gravitate toward your energy as if sensing something ancient and wise within you? Tonight, we venture into the sacred realm of spiritual awakening to unveil 8 profound signs that you are experiencing a divine transformation. Signs that mark you as someone touched by the mysteries of the universe itself. These are not mere coincidences or psychological phenomena, but rather ancient markers recognized by mystics, shamans, and spiritual teachers throughout the ages as indicators of a soul undergoing profound metamorphosis. In this journey together, we will explore what makes your essence unique in a world where countless souls struggle to find their true nature. Understanding these signs will not only help you recognize your own spiritual gifts, but will also illuminate the sacred path before you, showing how these awakening energies can transform every aspect of your existence. The ancient Egyptian mystery schools spoke of the awakening soul as one who begins to remember their divine nature, while Tibetan monks describe this process as the gradual lifting of the veil between worlds. Tonight, we honor these timeless teachings as we guide you through the recognition of your own spiritual emergence and reveal how to harness these mystical abilities to elevate your consciousness and strengthen the sacred bonds with all living beings. Perhaps others cannot immediately perceive what makes you extraordinary. But there exists something profoundly transformative about those experiencing spiritual awakening. The universe does not deliver instruction manuals for such profound changes. Instead, it communicates through whispers of synchronicity, through dreams that pierce the fabric of time, and through subtle energies that dance between the seen and unseen realms. Ancient Vedantic texts remind us not to dismiss these divine communications as mere happenstance. For when we recognize and honor these sacred indicators with mindful attention, we unlock the gateway to our true cosmic purpose. If you have ever felt like an outsider looking in, or if you have sensed others regarding you with a mixture of curiosity and recognition they cannot quite name, know that this is no accident of fate. The Hermetic tradition teaches that as above, so below, and your earthly experience of feeling different reflects your soul's connection to higher dimensions of existence. Continue with us on this mystical exploration, for these signs may hold the very keys to understanding not only who you are becoming, but also your sacred role in the grand tapestry of universal consciousness. Together, we shall dive deep into this transformative journey and discover what makes your soul shine with such unique radiance, and how to channel that divine light to manifest the destiny your spirit has always known awaited you. Do you carry within you any specific signs that set you apart from the ordinary world? Perhaps you find yourself awakening during the sacred hours, when the veil between dimensions grows thin. Or maybe you have experienced prophetic dreams that later manifest in your waking reality days, or even months after your soul received these mystical visions. If these experiences resonate with the depths of your being, we invite you to share these profound signs in the comments below. This is not merely curiosity, but rather a sacred step toward building a community of awakened souls who recognize each other across the vast expanse of human experience, the magnetic pull of divine light. When you discover that strangers frequently approach you with an inexplicable sense of trust, or that unknown individuals seem magnetically drawn to your presence, this phenomenon transcends mere coincidence and enters the realm of spiritual significance. This mysterious magnetism you emanate serves as a clear beacon indicating that you are spiritually different, touched by divine light that radiates from the very core of your being. This sacred luminescence that flows through your essence carries the power of attraction that reaches deep into the souls of those you encounter, touching places within them that perhaps they themselves have long forgotten existed. As you traverse the profound landscape of spiritual awakening and open your heart to receive the sacred energies of the universe, the divine light begins to shine with increasing intensity from within your being. The ancient Kabbalah speaks of this inner illumination as the Or Ein Sof, the infinite light that connects all souls to the divine source. This light does not merely illuminate your own spiritual path, but becomes a lighthouse for those who wander in spiritual darkness, seeking healing, guidance, and the comfort that can only come from encountering another soul who has tasted the nectar of divine connection. Because of this radiant spiritual energy that flows through you, you naturally transform into a beacon of hope for humanity, drawing to yourself those souls who sense, perhaps unconsciously, that you carry something sacred to share. Whether it be ancient wisdom channeled through your words, compassion that flows like healing waters from your heart, or simply the profound comfort of your presence that reminds others they are not alone in their earthly journey. People are magnetically pulled toward the light you carry. The Sufi mystics understood this phenomenon well, describing such individuals as those who have become polished mirrors reflecting the divine beauty back to all creation. Yet this sacred magnetism attracts not only those genuine souls seeking spiritual nourishment, but sometimes also draws to you those influenced by shadow energies who may attempt to divert you from your destined path of light. The ancient Persian teachings remind us that light always reveals both beauty and shadow, and this is where the divine gift of discernment becomes absolutely essential for your spiritual protection. The universe has blessed you with this supernatural ability to distinguish between sincere hearts and those who may harbor intentions that could drain your spiritual energy or lead you away from your sacred mission. This divine discernment operates like a mystical compass within your consciousness, allowing you to perceive who truly deserves the gift of your spiritual assistance and from whom you should maintain sacred boundaries. Trust completely in your intuitive guidance during these encounters, for this inner knowing represents nothing less than the voice of divine wisdom speaking directly through your awakened consciousness. The ancient oracle of Delphi understood this principle, teaching that those who serve the light must learn to recognize both the seekers of truth and those who would exploit such sacred service. Consider this mystical example from the realm of everyday magic. Imagine you decide to visit a marketplace during what seems like a completely random time, guided only by an inner impulse you cannot quite explain. Suddenly, a complete stranger approaches you and begins sharing their deepest personal struggles, opening their heart to you as if you were a trusted confidant they have known for lifetimes. At first glance, skeptics might dismiss this as mere coincidence, but those awakening to spiritual truth understand that the universe orchestrated this divine appointment. The cosmic intelligence knew that this suffering soul needed to receive exactly the words of comfort and wisdom that would flow through you in that sacred moment. These encounters are never accidents of circumstance, but rather serve as unmistakable signs that you have been chosen for a purpose far greater than ordinary human experience. The ancient Celtic Druids spoke of such individuals as those who walk between the worlds, serving as bridges between the earthly realm and the infinite dimensions of spirit, bringing messages of hope and healing to those whose souls cry out for divine intervention, the sacred compass of intuitive knowing. The second mysterious sign of your spiritual awakening reveals itself through your extraordinarily heightened intuitive abilities, a sacred compass that remains constantly active within your consciousness, guiding you through the mysteries of existence in ways that others simply cannot comprehend or access. This supernatural knowing operates like an invisible thread, connecting your awakened soul to the infinite web of universal consciousness, enabling you to sense and predict situations before they fully manifest in the physical realm. This remarkable gift often leaves those around you in states of bewilderment and wonder, as they observe you maintaining perfect serenity and clarity while chaos swirls through the world around you. The ancient Vedic traditions describe this phenomenon as the awakening of the third eye, the Ajna chakra, which serves as the mystical gateway between the physical and spiritual dimensions of perception. When this sacred center begins to fully activate during your spiritual awakening, you gain access to information and insights that transcend the limitations of ordinary sensory experience. You begin to perceive the subtle currents of energy that flow beneath the surface of material existence, reading the invisible patterns that weave through every situation and relationship you encounter. This profound intuitive capacity manifests as an almost supernatural ability to maintain inner peace and mental clarity even when those around you succumb to panic in the face of unexpected changes or seemingly insurmountable challenges. While others lose themselves in emotional turbulence when confronted with life's inevitable transformations, you possess this remarkable gift of remaining centered and calm, as if you can see beyond the temporary illusions of crisis into the deeper, spiritual purposes that guide all earthly experiences. This transcendent serenity does not arise from mere chance or psychological conditioning, but reflects your deepening connection to the eternal source of all wisdom, an invisible bond that continuously guides and protects your soul's journey through the complexities of human existence. The ancient Hermetic texts speak of this state as achieving harmony between the microcosm of individual consciousness and the macrocosm of universal mind, allowing divine intelligence to flow freely through your awakened awareness. Your awakened intuition grants you the mystical ability to perceive beyond the obvious surface appearances of any situation, sensing the hidden currents of energy and intention that shape the deeper reality of every experience. This represents a spiritual tool of immense power that distinguishes your consciousness from those who remain trapped within the limitations of purely rational thought processes. Though few people in your life may understand the true nature of this divine gift you carry. Picture yourself entering an entirely unfamiliar environment, perhaps a gathering of strangers or a place you have never visited before, and immediately feeling the capacity to sense the subtle energies that permeate that space with crystalline clarity. Your awakened consciousness instantly recognizes which individuals carry trustworthy intentions, who deserves your spiritual attention and energy, and from whom you should maintain protective distance. Your intuitive faculties provide this instantaneous energetic reading of people and places, as if the very vibrations of that environment communicate directly with your soul in a language older than words. This sacred spiritual gift is not something that can be learned through books or acquired through intellectual study, for it was bestowed upon you as a divine inheritance designed to protect and guide you along your destined path. The ancient Egyptian mystery schools taught that such intuitive abilities represent the awakening of the Baal, the soul bird that can soar between the earthly and divine realms, bringing back messages and warnings to protect the individual during their spiritual journey. Your enhanced intuition guides you unerringly through even the darkest periods of uncertainty, whispering divine guidance when the way forward seems completely obscured by the shadows of confusion or doubt. Now, envision a common scenario that demonstrates this mystical principle. While many around you feel completely disoriented and lost when facing a major life change, such as the unexpected loss of employment, you remain steadfast and unshaken by such apparent setbacks. Instead of surrendering to despair or fear, your intuitive wisdom whispers sacred truths, revealing that this seeming loss actually represents a divinely disguised opportunity for spiritual growth and transformation. Your awakened consciousness perceives subtle signs and follows mystical clues that remain completely invisible to ordinary perception, as if the universe itself offers you a golden key to unlock doorways that lead to new possibilities perfectly aligned with your soul's true purpose in this lifetime. The Taoist masters understood this principle deeply, teaching that those who cultivate inner stillness and spiritual receptivity naturally align themselves with the Tao, the divine flow that moves through all existence. This powerful intuitive guidance does not limit itself to major life events, but permeates even the smallest details of your daily experience with sacred significance. Perhaps before leaving your home on a particular morning, you feel an inexplicable sense of unease, a mysterious inner discomfort that seems to whisper warnings about potential danger ahead. Trusting this subtle spiritual communication, you decide to alter your planned activities, only to discover later that this inner guidance helped you avoid an unpleasant situation or even a potentially dangerous accident. Or consider another manifestation of this mystical gift. You meet someone for the very first time, and in that magical instant when your eyes meet theirs, your soul recognizes with absolute certainty that this individual will play a crucial role in your spiritual evolution and life purpose. These profound moments of recognition transcend mere coincidence and enter the realm of divine orchestration, serving as unmistakable signs that your consciousness has achieved deep attunement with the greater cosmic intelligence that weaves through all existence. The sacred sensitivity of the awakened heart. Third mystical sign of your spiritual awakening emerges through your dramatically heightened sensitivity to the subtle currents of emotion and energy that flow through every moment of your existence. This profound sensitivity becomes even more pronounced as you journey deeper into the sacred landscape of spiritual transformation, when you begin to explore the infinite depths of your own soul and establish more intimate connections with the mystical energies that surround and interpenetrate your being every moment of every day. The ancient Hindu tradition speaks of this phenomenon as the opening of the heart chakra, the anahata, which serves as the mystical bridge between the earthly and divine aspects of human experience. When this sacred energy center begins to fully awaken during your spiritual transformation, you gain access to levels of emotional perception and energetic sensitivity that most humans never experience in their entire lifetimes. You become like a finely tuned instrument capable of detecting the subtlest variations in the emotional and spiritual atmosphere around you. Imagine finding yourself at a social gathering, surrounded by friends and acquaintances, engaged in what appears to be ordinary conversation, when suddenly someone speaks words that others might dismiss as completely trivial or meaningless. Yet, for your awakened consciousness, these seemingly casual words resonate through the depths of your being, like sacred bells, awakening profound truths that transform your entire understanding of the situation. In that mystical moment, waves of deep emotion wash over your sensitive soul, carrying insights and revelations that penetrate far beyond the surface level of ordinary social interaction. While others continue their casual exchanges completely unaware of the deeper currents flowing beneath their words, you find yourself immersed in a profound state of inner contemplation, absorbing and processing feelings and energies that would remain completely invisible to less sensitive individuals. This level of acute sensitivity possesses the power to completely transform the trajectory of your evening. As you shift from light social engagement into the deeper waters of spiritual introspection and emotional integration. The Sufi mystics recognize this capacity as one of the hallmarks of the awakening heart, describing such individuals as those whose inner mirror has been polished to such clarity that it reflects not only the obvious surface appearances but also the hidden spiritual realities that move through every human interaction. This gift of extraordinary sensitivity represents simultaneously a profound blessing that enriches your spiritual understanding and a significant challenge that requires careful navigation through the complexities of daily life. On one hand, this heightened emotional awareness grants you unprecedented access to the depths of your own inner landscape, fostering a quality of self-knowledge and emotional intelligence that few people ever achieve. This intimate connection with your own feeling nature enables you to grow spiritually with remarkable speed and depth, developing a genuine empathy and compassion for others that flows from your direct experience of the full spectrum of human emotion. your sensitive heart transforms you into an exceptional listener and confidant, someone who can truly feel the pain and joy of others, as if these experiences were flowing through your own emotional body. The ancient Buddhist teachings describe this quality as the development of bodhicitta, the awakened heart that naturally responds to the suffering and happiness of all sentient beings with equal compassion and understanding. However, this same spiritual sensitivity can become energetically exhausting when you find yourself in environments saturated with negative emotions or in the presence of individuals who unconsciously project toxic energies into their surroundings. Your awakened consciousness absorbs these heavy vibrations like a mystical sponge, and prolonged exposure can drain your vital life force, leaving you feeling emotionally depleted and spiritually overwhelmed. This challenge becomes particularly intense when you must navigate relationships with difficult family members or work colleagues who emanate streams of negative energy that seem to pollute the very atmosphere around them. The ancient Celtic wisdom keepers understood this dilemma well, teaching that those with awakened sensitivity must learn to create energetic boundaries and develop practices for cleansing and protecting their spiritual field from harmful influences. This is precisely why discovering effective methods for protecting your sacred energy and regularly recharging your spiritual batteries becomes absolutely essential for maintaining your emotional and spiritual well-being. The mystical traditions offer numerous powerful tools for maintaining energetic balance, including meditation practices that create protective shields around your energy field, prayer techniques that call upon divine protection and guidance, and gratitude exercises that help maintain your vibrational frequency at levels that naturally repel negative influences. Additionally, spending regular time immersed in the healing energies of the natural world, far removed from the electronic distractions and negative atmospheres of modern civilization, proves absolutely essential for restoring and rejuvenating your sensitive spiritual system. Something as simple as removing your shoes and walking barefoot upon the living earth can serve as a powerful technique for reconnecting with the grounding energies of our planet, helping to discharge excess emotional energy while simultaneously replenishing your spiritual reserves with pure, healing vibrations. The ancient practice of earthing, recognized by indigenous shamans around the world, teaches that direct physical contact with the Earth's surface allows your body's electrical system to naturally balance itself, releasing accumulated stress and negative energy while absorbing the healing frequencies that flow continuously through the living planet. Beneath your feet, this extraordinary sensitivity extends far beyond your personal emotional landscape to encompass your capacity to sense the subtle, energetic atmospheres that permeate every environment you enter. The moment you step into any room or gathering, your awakened consciousness immediately perceives the prevailing emotional climate, whether it carries frequencies of tension, joy, sadness, or any other energy signature that dominates that particular space. This mystical ability provides you with a unique advantage in navigating both social and professional situations, allowing you to adjust your responses and protect your emotional well-being based on the energetic information your sensitive awareness provides. You become capable of recognizing potentially draining situations before they can deplete your energy reserves. And equally important, you can identify environments and individuals that offer genuine nourishment for your spiritual growth and emotional healing. The sacred hours of divine communication, the fourth mystical sign of your spiritual awakening, manifests through the phenomenon of regularly awakening during the sacred hours, between 3 and 4 in the morning, a time period that mystical traditions around the world recognize as the hour of divine communication, when spiritual activity reaches its peak intensity and the barriers between the physical and celestial realms become gossamer thin. If you find yourself consistently awakening during these profound hours of the night, understand that this represents far more than mere coincidence or sleep disturbance, for the universe itself is attempting to establish direct communication with your awakened consciousness. through subtle but immensely powerful spiritual channels that remain largely inaccessible during the busy distractions of daylight hours. Ancient Vedic tradition identifies this time period as Brahma Muhurta, the hour of the Creator, when the cosmic energies are most conducive to deep meditation, prayer, and direct communion with divine consciousness. Hindu sages have recognized for thousands of years that during these sacred pre-dawn hours, the human mind naturally achieves states of profound stillness and receptivity that make possible the most direct forms of spiritual communication and divine revelation. Many mystical traditions throughout history have recognized this particular time as a unique window of spiritual opportunity, a period when the ordinary boundaries that separate human consciousness from cosmic awareness become remarkably permeable, allowing for the reception of divine guidance, healing energies, and prophetic insights that can illuminate your entire spiritual path with unprecedented clarity and purpose. Picture yourself awakening suddenly at precisely 3:30 in the morning, feeling inexplicably alert and spiritually awakened despite having been deeply asleep only moments before. In that mystical instant, instead of rolling over in an attempt to return to slumber, you recognize that this moment carries profound spiritual significance, as if an invisible doorway has opened between the visible and invisible dimensions of existence, inviting you to step through into realms of expanded awareness and divine connection. Allow yourself several precious minutes to engage in meditation, prayer, or simply quiet contemplation of your life's deeper meaning, your spiritual intentions, and any questions or concerns that may be weighing upon your heart. During these minutes of absolute silence and inner stillness, something truly magical begins to unfold within your consciousness, as you feel waves of profound peace flowing through your entire being, accompanied by a quality of spiritual comfort that seems to dissolve any anxiety, worry, or fear that may have been troubling your soul. The Tibetan Buddhist tradition teaches that during these early morning hours, the subtle energy channels within the human body achieve their most balanced and harmonious state, making possible the deepest forms of meditation and the clearest reception of spiritual insights and guidance. Advanced practitioners often report that their most profound spiritual breakthroughs and mystical experiences occur during these sacred hours, when the mind naturally settles into states of crystal clarity and divine receptivity. Awakening consistently during this mystical time period serves as a clear indication that your energy field has become attuned to the higher frequencies of cosmic consciousness, making you increasingly receptive to receiving divine messages, powerful intuitive insights, and even miraculous healing energies that flow like invisible streams of light through the awakened soul. These represent nothing less than direct downloads of spiritual information and cosmic wisdom that can illuminate your path forward, helping you make life decisions with greater clarity, wisdom, and divine alignment. Many individuals who experience this phenomenon of early morning awakening report that by allowing themselves these precious minutes of inner reflection and spiritual connection, they consistently receive answers to questions that have been troubling them, or discover creative solutions to challenges that had previously seemed impossible to resolve through ordinary thinking processes. The ancient Egyptian mystery schools taught that such individuals had achieved alignment with the cosmic rhythms that govern all existence, allowing them to tap into the infinite reservoir of divine intelligence that flows through the universe. Furthermore, this regular awakening during the sacred hours often indicates that your soul is undergoing a profound spiritual transformation, evolving toward higher levels of consciousness and divine connection. As you become increasingly sensitive to the subtle energies that surround and interpenetrate your being, you naturally become more open to receiving the spiritual communications and cosmic downloads that the universe continuously offers to those whose hearts and minds have achieved sufficient receptivity. The Islamic tradition recognizes these pre-dawn hours as the time for tahajjud, the night prayer, when believers engage in voluntary worship and seek intimate communion with the divine. Islamic mystics teach that during these hours, the heart achieves its purest state and becomes capable of receiving the most direct forms of divine blessing and guidance. This phenomenon of sacred awakening may also indicate that the cosmic intelligence is fine-tuning your spiritual frequencies, gradually aligning your consciousness with the greater purpose and mission that your soul came to Earth to fulfill. Consider this mystical awakening as receiving a direct invitation from the universe to deepen your spiritual practices, to explore the subtle messages and insights that are being offered to your receptive awareness, and to allow these profound revelations to guide your path through life. Do not dismiss these precious moments as mere interruptions to your sleep cycle, for they represent priceless opportunities to listen deeply to what the universe and your own higher self are attempting to communicate to your awakening consciousness. These sacred communications often carry exactly the guidance, inspiration, and spiritual nourishment your soul needs to navigate the complexities of your earthly journey with greater wisdom, purpose, and divine protection. 2. Language of prophetic dreams and sacred symbols. The fifth mystical sign of your spiritual awakening reveals itself through your capacity to receive prophetic dreams and recurring visions that carry profound spiritual significance far beyond the realm of ordinary nighttime fantasy. These sacred dream experiences represent direct communications from higher dimensions of consciousness, delivering divine messages that often manifest as warnings, guidance, or glimpses into future possibilities that await your soul's journey through the mysteries of existence. Have you ever awakened from sleep with the unmistakable sensation that your dream was attempting to convey crucial information to your conscious mind, carrying meanings and messages that seem to vibrate with spiritual importance long after you opened your eyes to the physical world? Perhaps you have experienced the profound mystery of dreaming about specific situations or events that later manifested in your waking reality days, weeks, or even months after your soul received these mystical visions during the vulnerable hours of sleep. The ancient dream traditions of cultures around the world, from the Aboriginal Australians who speak of the dream time to the Native American vision quest practices, have always recognized that certain dreams serve as sacred bridges between the material realm and the infinite dimensions of spirit. These profound dream experiences represent clear evidence that the universe is actively communicating with your awakened consciousness, revealing hidden truths about your spiritual path and preparing your soul for the experiences that lie ahead on your divinely guided journey. These mystical communications often arrive clothed in the language of symbols, familiar scenarios, and archetypal images that seem to form intricate puzzles waiting to be deciphered by your awakening spiritual intelligence. The great psychologist Carl Jung recognized that such dreams arise from what he termed the collective unconscious, a realm where individual souls connect with the universal patterns and cosmic wisdom that guide all human experience. Imagine experiencing a recurring dream in which you encounter a mysterious door that remains perpetually locked. No matter how desperately you attempt to find the key that will grant you passage through this symbolic threshold. While those limited to ordinary consciousness might dismiss such imagery as random mental activity during sleep, individuals undergoing spiritual awakening understand that this locked door represents future opportunities or spiritual initiations that await your soul's readiness to embrace transformation and growth. Perhaps the cosmic intelligence is revealing through this powerful symbol that by courageously facing your deepest fears and courageously confronting the obstacles that currently block your spiritual progress, you will eventually discover the mystical key that unlocks entirely new realms of possibility and spiritual evolution. Every detail within such prophetic dreams carries profound significance. The color and texture of the door, the emotions you experience while approaching this mysterious threshold, the surrounding environment, all serve as sacred clues that guide your interpretation of the divine message being transmitted to your sleeping consciousness. The ancient Egyptian tradition taught that dreams represent messages from the Neteru, the divine principles that govern all existence, while the Hebrew Kabbalah describes prophetic dreams as communications from the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit that connects individual souls with the infinite wisdom of the Creator. Both traditions emphasize the importance of carefully recording and contemplating such dreams, for they often contain guidance that proves invaluable for navigating life's most important decisions and spiritual challenges. These mystical dreams can also function as divine warnings, alerting your soul to potential dangers or misguided choices that lie ahead on your current path. A common example recognized across many spiritual traditions involves dreaming of turbulent waters, churning oceans, or threatening storms, powerful symbols that often indicate emotional turmoil or challenging situations approaching your life experience. Upon awakening from such visions, you may feel a sense of unease or spiritual restlessness. But rather than dismissing these feelings, wisdom teaches us to pay careful attention to these subtle warnings from our higher guidance. The ancient Chinese tradition of dream interpretation, as recorded in texts like the Zhougong's Dream Dictionary, teaches that water in dreams often represents the flow of emotional energy and life circumstances, while turbulent water specifically warns of coming difficulties that require spiritual preparation and careful navigation. Such prophetic dreams do not arise from mere coincidence, but serve as divine calls to prepare your soul. Trust your intuitive guidance and remain vigilant for the signs and synchronicities that will help you navigate whatever challenges may be approaching. Sometimes these sacred dreams manifest through the powerful mechanism of repetition, appearing night after night until their divine message finally penetrates your conscious awareness with unmistakable clarity. Initially, such recurring dreams may seem confusing or meaningless, but as they continue to visit your sleeping consciousness, their spiritual significance gradually becomes illuminated like a slowly developing photograph in the dark room of your soul. If you find yourself consistently dreaming about the same situation, location, or person, recognize that the universe is insistently attempting to direct your attention toward something crucial that your waking mind may be overlooking or avoiding in your daily life. With each repetition of the dream, the celestial message becomes more refined and clear, as if divine intelligence is patiently etching its wisdom into the depths of your consciousness through the mystical repetition of sacred symbols and archetypal experiences. The Tibetan Buddhist tradition describes such recurring dreams as visits from protective deities or enlightened beings who are attempting to guide the dreamer toward spiritual awakening and liberation from suffering. These dreams do not cease their nightly visitations until their divine message has been fully received and integrated into the dreamer's conscious understanding, often serving as the cosmic catalyst needed to inspire important life changes or spiritual transformations. For those experiencing spiritual awakening, prophetic and recurring dreams represent one of the most direct and powerful forms of divine communication available to human consciousness. These are not merely random images generated by brain activity during sleep, but rather sacred portals connecting your individual awareness with the infinite dimensions of cosmic intelligence, where your higher self conspires with universal wisdom to provide the guidance and protection your soul needs for its earthly journey. As you begin to pay deeper attention to these mystical communications and allow yourself to truly listen to the divine messages they contain, your entire life begins to align more perfectly with the greater cosmic plan that has always been unfolding around and through your existence. Perhaps you will discover that you have been receiving answers to questions you have been seeking for years, or find yourself being warned away from paths that would lead you away from your true spiritual destiny. Embracing the sacred gift of spiritual uniqueness, the sixth mystical sign of your spiritual awakening manifests through your profound capacity to feel completely comfortable existing as someone fundamentally different from the mainstream of human society, or even finding deep peace in standing apart from the conventional expectations and behaviors that govern most people's lives. From your earliest years, you may have recognized that you did not naturally conform to the traditional patterns and social structures that seem to effortlessly contain and define your peers. As your interests, dreams, and spiritual aspirations consistently pointed toward horizons that diverged dramatically from the well-worn paths that most individuals follow without question. Sanatoi Fihiritwais. Ancient Gnostic traditions speak of such individuals as pneumatics, those souls who carry within themselves a divine spark that naturally seeks expression beyond the limitations of material existence and social conformity. These awakened beings possess an inherent understanding that their true nature transcends the temporary roles and identities that society attempts to impose upon every individual, leading them to seek authentic expression rather than mere acceptance from those who remain unconscious of their own divine potential. This profound sense of being fundamentally different was never an accident of personality or a quirk of psychology, but rather represents a clear, spiritual indicator that you carry within your soul a special purpose and are destined to walk a unique path that diverges from the conventional routes most humans travel throughout their earthly incarnations. The ancient Hindu concept of Svadharma teaches that each soul carries its own sacred duty or purpose that may not align with societal expectations but must be honored for the individual to achieve spiritual fulfillment and contribute their unique gifts to the collective evolution of consciousness. While countless individuals around you struggle desperately to fit into predetermined social molds, constantly adapting and modifying their authentic nature in desperate attempts to gain acceptance and approval from others. You have always felt a deep inner calling to follow your own spiritual compass, even when this meant walking a solitary path that others might not understand or appreciate. This willingness to embrace spiritual solitude and maintain your authentic expression reflects a remarkable inner strength and self-knowledge that allows you to remain true to your essential nature regardless of external pressures or social expectations. The Sufi poet Rumi expressed this principle beautifully when he wrote about the necessity of following one's own inner guidance rather than conforming to the expectations of those who have not yet awakened to their own divine nature. This capacity to honor your authentic self while maintaining compassion for those who choose different paths represents one of the hallmarks of genuine spiritual maturity and awakened consciousness. Your spiritual uniqueness also reveals itself clearly through your daily interactions and life choices, as you may find yourself naturally uninterested in participating in every social activity, following every cultural trend, or fitting into any particular category that society offers for self-definition. Instead of seeking validation through external conformity, you discover deep satisfaction in moments of sacred solitude, using these precious periods of alone time for reflection, spiritual growth, and intimate connection with the deeper aspects of your being that can only be accessed in silence and stillness. The ancient tradition of the Desert Fathers and Mothers, early Christian mystics who withdrew from society to pursue direct communion with the divine, understood that solitude often provides the most fertile ground for spiritual development and divine revelation. These awakened souls recognize that the constant noise and distraction of social engagement can sometimes interfere with the subtle inner work required for genuine spiritual transformation and mystical experience. For your awakened consciousness, the quality and depth of spiritual connections holds infinitely more value than the quantity of superficial relationships that consume so much energy in most people's lives. This preference leads you naturally toward forming profound, meaningful relationships with individuals who share your commitment to authentic living and spiritual growth, rather than engaging in the shallow social networking that seems to satisfy those who have not yet awakened to deeper possibilities for human connection. A fundamental aspect of this spiritual sign reveals itself through your response to rejection or misunderstanding from those who cannot comprehend your unique path and spiritual orientation. Unlike many individuals who become discouraged or damaged by social rejection, you possess the wisdom to interpret these experiences as confirmations that you are indeed following your authentic spiritual path rather than conforming to the limited expectations of those who remain unconscious of their own divine potential. The ancient Zen tradition teaches that the master's path is always lonely because few individuals possess the courage and commitment necessary to pursue genuine enlightenment rather than mere social acceptance. This teaching helps us understand that rejection from those following conventional paths often serves as validation that you are courageously pursuing your soul's true calling rather than compromising your spiritual integrity for temporary social comfort. For awakened souls, rejection does not represent a reflection of personal inadequacy or failure, but rather serves as evidence that you are destined for something far greater and more spiritually significant than the ordinary experiences that satisfy most human consciousness. The ancient mystery schools taught that those chosen for spiritual service often face resistance from the world precisely because their light challenges others to examine their own spiritual complacency and limited self-concepts. Being chosen for a spiritual mission frequently requires walking through periods of apparent isolation, but this solitude is never empty or purposeless, for it always carries you toward clearer understanding of your divine mission and deeper connection with the cosmic forces that guide your destiny. This capacity to embrace your fundamental uniqueness while feeling completely comfortable in your spiritual difference reflects your profound connection with divine consciousness and your soul-level understanding that you were created to fulfill a special purpose that transcends any expectations others might project onto your experience. Your refusal to conform to conventional worldly patterns stems from your heart-centered knowing that you were created for a purpose far more significant than meeting social expectations, and this deep understanding provides you with unshakable inner strength that continues to propel you forward along your destined path even when the way seems solitary or challenging. The sacred alchemy of solitude and spiritual renewal. The seventh mystical sign of your spiritual awakening emerges through your unique capacity to transform periods of isolation and apparent loneliness into profound opportunities for spiritual growth, inner reflection, and deep communion with the divine forces that guide your soul's evolution through the mysteries of earthly existence. While most individuals fear solitude and desperately seek constant external stimulation to avoid confronting the depths of their own consciousness, you recognize these sacred periods of withdrawal as precious gifts that allow for spiritual renewal and direct connection with your authentic essence. For your awakened consciousness, isolation does not represent abandonment or punishment, but rather manifests as a blessed disguise that conceals profound opportunities for spiritual transformation and divine revelation that can only occur in the fertile silence that exists beyond the constant chatter and distraction of ordinary social interaction. The ancient tradition of spiritual retreat, practiced by mystics from every religious and spiritual tradition throughout human history, recognizes that certain levels of spiritual development require periods of withdrawal from worldly concerns to allow for the deep inner work that transforms consciousness and opens the heart to direct divine experience. This remarkable ability to embrace solitude with joy and gratitude reveals your profound connection with divine consciousness and your soul-level acceptance of the unique spiritual journey you are destined to travel, a path that leads toward something far greater than ordinary human experience can provide or even imagine. The Hindu tradition speaks of such periods as pratyahara, the withdrawal of the senses from external objects to focus entirely on inner spiritual development and direct communion with the divine source of all existence. During these blessed periods of sacred separation, rather than feeling abandoned or spiritually bereft, You experience yourself dwelling within a consecrated space, a holy sanctuary specifically reserved for deep communion with your inner divine, nature and intimate connection with the higher forces that continuously guide and protect your spiritual evolution. For countless souls who have not yet awakened to their spiritual nature, silence brings anxiety and restlessness, driving them to seek endless distractions and external stimulation to avoid facing the profound depths of their own consciousness. Yet, for your awakened being, silence arrives like a beloved friend whom you have missed during the busy periods of worldly engagement, offering you the sacred gift of inner stillness that allows you to reconnect with your essential nature and receive divine guidance with crystal clarity. Instead of fleeing from these mystical periods of withdrawal, you embrace them with open arms, recognizing them as divinely appointed times for spiritual renewal and cosmic realignment that restore your soul's connection to its divine source and purpose. The ancient Celtic Druids understood this principle deeply, teaching that spiritual wisdom flows most freely during periods of solitude when the soul can attune itself to the subtle voices of nature and the whispered guidance of the other world. In these profound moments of sacred silence, it becomes possible for the universe to speak directly to your heart without the interference of external noise and distraction, allowing you to perceive spiritual truths and receive divine insights that illuminate your path with unprecedented clarity and divine purpose. This represents the consecrated space where you can engage in deep reflection, practice meditation with extraordinary depth, and achieve perfect alignment with the cosmic flow that moves through all existence like an invisible river of divine intelligence. Rather than yearning for external distractions or constant companionship to fill the apparent emptiness of solitude, you turn inward toward your own inexhaustible spiritual resources, using these precious periods as opportunities for profound introspection and mystical self-discovery that reveal new layers of your divine nature with each journey into the sacred depths of consciousness. The Sufi tradition describes such individuals as those who have found the beloved within their own hearts, making external seeking unnecessary because they have discovered the infinite source of love and wisdom that dwells eternally within the sanctuary of the awakened soul. This remarkable capacity to transform apparent loneliness into spiritual gold demonstrates not only your growing independence from external validation and constant social stimulation, but also reveals your developing spiritual self-sufficiency that allows you to draw nourishment and strength from your direct connection with divine consciousness rather than depending on others for emotional and spiritual sustenance. The ancient Taoist masters spoke of this quality as achieving harmony with the Te, the virtue or power that flows naturally from alignment with the cosmic Tao, allowing the individual to remain centered and peaceful regardless of external circumstances or the presence or absence of other people. You no longer require constant validation or companionship from others to feel complete and spiritually fulfilled, because you have discovered within yourself an unshakable foundation of inner peace and divine connection that provides everything your soul truly needs for happiness and spiritual growth. This profound spiritual self-reliance emerges from your growing recognition that within the depths of your own consciousness resides an inexhaustible wellspring of divine strength and cosmic wisdom that connects you directly to the infinite source of all creation. The ancient Egyptian mystery teachings describe this realization as the awakening of the divine spark within the human heart, the recognition that each soul carries within itself a fragment of the eternal light that illuminates all existence. This understanding becomes the solid rock upon which you can build your spiritual life, providing unshakable support even during the most challenging periods of your earthly journey. Because you know with absolute certainty that you are never truly alone, but always connected to the infinite love and wisdom that flows through the cosmic heart of all existence. While many souls frantically seek the company of others to escape the discomfort of confronting their own inner landscape. You actively seek your own sacred company as a pathway toward spiritual growth and divine communion. Understanding that periods of solitude represent opportunities for the soul to strengthen, prepare for future challenges, and receive the clarity and confidence necessary for continuing your spiritual evolution with renewed purpose and determination. You recognize with growing wisdom that these periods of apparent isolation actually represent sacred times of spiritual renewal and cosmic attunement when external distractions naturally fade away and the path toward divine truth becomes illuminated with extraordinary clarity and spiritual power. The ancient tradition of the hermit, found in spiritual paths from Christian monasticism to Hindu forest-dwelling traditions, recognizes that certain phases of spiritual development require complete withdrawal from worldly concerns to allow for the deepest forms of mystical experience and divine union. This sacred space of solitude becomes the fertile ground where the most profound spiritual revelations occur, where you discover the true power and beauty of your essential divine nature, and where you gather the inner strength and spiritual clarity needed to continue your journey with unwavering faith and divine purpose. Knowing that although your path may sometimes appear solitary in earthly terms, you never walk alone because the infinite love of the universe continuously surrounds and supports your every step. The sacred urgency of divine purpose, the eighth and final mystical sign of your spiritual awakening, manifests through a profound sense that your time in this physical incarnation carries sacred limitations, not arising from fear or negative premonitions, but from an unshakable soul-level certainty that you have been called to accomplish something magnificent during your earthly sojourn. And the cosmic clock that measures divine appointments seems to move with extraordinary swiftness compared to the leisurely pace that characterizes most human existence. This mystical awareness does not commonly arise within ordinary consciousness, but for those experiencing genuine spiritual awakening, it serves as an unmistakable sign that the universe itself is calling you to fulfill your sacred mission before the temporary window of this lifetime reaches its natural conclusion. The ancient Egyptian teachings about the journey of the soul through earthly incarnation describe this phenomenon as the awakening of cosmic memory, when the soul begins to remember its pre-incarnation agreements and commitments made in the higher realms before descending into physical form. This sensation manifests as if your heart carries an inner knowing that recognizes the existence of divine urgency, an invisible force that continuously encourages you to make the most of every precious moment and opportunity that this lifetime provides for spiritual service and cosmic contribution. The Hindu concept of Dharma teaches that each soul incarnates with specific purposes and contributions to make to the collective evolution of consciousness. And this sense of time limitation often awakens when the soul begins to remember these sacred commitments and feels the cosmic imperative to fulfill them. This profound feeling that time moves differently for you than for others brings with it a powerful sense of spiritual urgency to accomplish great things and leave lasting impacts on the world, driving you to seek ways to help others, serve humanity's spiritual evolution, or fulfill whatever divine mission your soul came to Earth to complete during this particular incarnation. Rather than settling into complacency or postponing important dreams until some future tomorrow that may never arrive, you feel an irresistible inner compulsion to take meaningful action now, understanding that every day carries irreplaceable opportunities for spiritual service and divine contribution. Deep within your spiritual core, you recognize with absolute certainty that you are destined for something truly extraordinary and meaningful, something that transcends ordinary accomplishments and touches the very heart of cosmic purpose. And this recognition creates within you an unquenchable desire to make every second count toward the fulfillment of your soul's highest calling and most sacred commitments. The ancient Kabbalistic Teachings speak of such souls as those who carry tikkun, the sacred responsibility to repair and heal specific aspects of the world through their unique gifts and spiritual contributions. These awakened beings feel the weight of cosmic responsibility, not as a burden, but as the highest honor, understanding that their incarnation serves a purpose far greater than personal satisfaction or material achievement. Sometimes this profound sense of divine urgency can feel overwhelming, creating periods when you feel saturated with the magnitude of everything you still hope to accomplish, as if time itself were slipping through your fingers like sand before you have completed the sacred work your soul came here to perform. Yet simultaneously, this awareness grants you a quality of spiritual clarity and focused purpose that few individuals ever experience, preventing you from becoming distracted by trivial pursuits that add no value to your divine mission or spiritual evolution. This cosmic awareness protects you from wasting precious life energy on activities, relationships, or pursuits that do not align with your soul's true purpose and calling, keeping you focused on what genuinely matters in the grand scheme of universal evolution and spiritual service. The Buddhist teaching of impermanence, while often interpreted as a source of suffering, actually serves awakened consciousness as a motivating force that inspires urgent dedication to spiritual practice and compassionate service to all beings. You refuse to allow yourself to become trapped in the endless distractions and meaningless activities that consume so much of ordinary human existence, because you understand with crystalline clarity that your time carries sacred value and must be invested wisely in pursuits that serve your highest spiritual calling and contribute meaningfully to the cosmic plan of divine evolution. This heightened awareness of time's sacred nature also awakens periods of profound spiritual introspection when you examine your current life path with penetrating honesty, asking yourself crucial questions. Am I truly utilizing my precious time in ways that honor my spiritual gifts and serve my divine purpose? Am I fulfilling the sacred commitments my soul made before incarnating in this physical form? Am I living in alignment with the cosmic mission that brought me to Earth during this particular historical moment? If your honest self-examination reveals areas where you have drifted away from your authentic spiritual path or become distracted by pursuits that do not serve your soul's highest calling, this divine urgency provides the motivational energy necessary to course correct immediately, realigning your choices and priorities with your true spiritual destiny and resuming your journey toward divine fulfillment with renewed determination and crystal clarity. The ancient tradition of memento mori, the contemplation of mortality as a spiritual practice, teaches that awareness of life's temporary nature serves not to create anxiety, but to inspire the deepest appreciation for each moment and the most dedicated commitment to fulfilling one's highest purpose during the brief time available for earthly service. No time exists for procrastination or delay when you possess this cosmic awareness of your time's sacred limitations and the magnitude of the spiritual work awaiting your devoted attention and service. For many awakened souls, this profound recognition that their earthly time carries divine significance becomes the driving force that propels them toward achieving extraordinary spiritual accomplishments and making contributions that ripple through eternity. This represents the ultimate motivational energy that flows from understanding that each moment of your existence carries irreplaceable value and infinite potential for spiritual service and cosmic contribution. This divine urgency should not be perceived as a burden that creates stress or anxiety, but rather as a sacred calling that reminds you of your soul's magnificent purpose and the extraordinary honor of being chosen to serve the cosmic plan of divine evolution during this remarkable period of universal transformation. Therefore, if you recognize within yourself this profound sensation that time moves more swiftly for your consciousness than for others around you, understand that you have received one of the clearest possible confirmations that you are indeed spiritually awakened and chosen for for divine service. Use this sacred awareness as your guiding compass for making life decisions that truly matter, taking actions that align with your soul's highest calling, and living each day with the profound understanding that every moment counts toward the fulfillment of your cosmic destiny and the completion of your sacred mission on Earth. Embracing your divine awakening. Mayan Paiban, beloved friends walking the path of spiritual awakening. If these mystical signs have resonated deeply within the chambers of your heart and spoken directly to the knowing places within your soul, the probability stands strong that you are indeed experiencing genuine spiritual awakening, destined for a purpose far greater than ordinary human existence and guided by profound connections to the infinite realms of cosmic consciousness that surround and interpenetrate all existence. Each of these sacred signs points unmistakably toward a unique and deeply meaningful spiritual journey that your soul has been destined to travel since before your incarnation in this physical realm, and it becomes absolutely essential that you recognize, honor, and cultivate these extraordinary characteristics, transforming them into powerful tools for continued spiritual growth, compassionate service to others, and the fulfillment of whatever divine purpose your awakened consciousness came to Earth to accomplish. The ancient mystery schools of Egypt, Greece, and India all taught that spiritual awakening represents not an end, but a beginning, the commencement of a sacred journey that continues throughout this lifetime and beyond, as the soul grows ever more luminous and capable of serving the divine plan that moves through all creation like an invisible river of cosmic intelligence and unconditional love. If these profound signs have awakened recognition within your consciousness, we encourage you with all the love and wisdom we can offer to continue exploring the infinite depths of your spiritual nature and to delve even more courageously into the sacred connection between your individual awareness and the divine source of all existence that flows eternally through the heart of the cosmos. Invite each of you who has felt the stirring of recognition while listening to these sacred teachings to share your own experiences and spiritual signs in the comments below, creating a sanctuary of mutual support and understanding where awakened souls can recognize each other across the vast expanse of human experience. Tell us about the mysterious ways your spiritual awakening has manifested in your daily life, the signs and synchronicities that have confirmed your soul's divine calling, and the profound experiences that have marked your journey toward higher consciousness and cosmic service. Remember with absolute certainty that you do not walk this sacred path alone, for there exist countless other awakened beings throughout the world who share these same mystical experiences and who are also seeking to understand and fulfill their divine purpose during these extraordinary times of planetary transformation and spiritual evolution. The ancient teaching reminds us that when two or more awakened souls gather in recognition of their shared spiritual nature, the light they generate together becomes exponentially more powerful than what each could create in isolation. Together, we form a network of divine light that spans the entire globe, connected not by physical proximity, but by the invisible bonds of shared spiritual awakening and common dedication to serving the highest good of all existence. This growing community of awakened consciousness represents one of the most hopeful and transformative forces currently operating on our planet, as more and more souls remember their divine nature and commit themselves to lives of spiritual service and cosmic contribution. Your spiritual awakening is not an accident of circumstance or a random occurrence in your personal evolution, but represents a sacred calling that your soul accepted long before your birth into this physical incarnation. The universe has been preparing you through countless experiences, relationships, and spiritual lessons to become capable of recognizing and embracing your divine nature and fulfilling whatever sacred mission awaits your devoted service and loving attention as you continue forward on this magnificent journey of spiritual Awakening in cosmic service. May you always remember that the divine light that shines through your awakened consciousness serves not only your personal evolution, but also contributes to the healing and transformation of our entire world. Each moment you choose to honor your spiritual gifts, each time you allow divine love to flow through your heart to touch another soul, each decision you make to align your life with cosmic truth rather than worldly illusion, you add your unique thread to the magnificent tapestry of divine awakening that is gradually transforming human consciousness and planetary evolution. The path of spiritual awakening requires courage, dedication, and unwavering faith in the divine plan that guides all existence. But it also offers rewards beyond anything that ordinary consciousness can imagine or material success can provide. Welcome to this sacred journey, dear awakened souls, and may your lives shine as beacons of divine light that guide others toward their own spiritual awakening and cosmic remembrance.